How's it going, everybody? See you Monday. Got the bass, got the coffee. We're good to go. Uh, Danny, good to see you. Everybody, Nico, Carol, Stephen. Oh, got a few people on here. This is good fun. A fretless man. Astra, how's it going, buddy? Uh, yeah, so I figure we'll just go over a couple of cool topics. We'll do some stuff. A few things I was going to talk about. I started having some questions building up via like private message and email and everything. So I thought it'd be a cool thing to be able to interact and talk with you guys and everything. And since I'm also lazy about typing, it's easier just to do a show on it. So yeah, greetings everybody. Like I said, if you have a question or something you want me to cover, definitely hit me up here in the comments. And if you can, give me a second to kind of segue from one to the other because the stuff rolls by pretty quickly. So what I figure is while we're doing, everybody's kind of getting in. And how's it going, Anthony? Good to see you. While we're getting in, I'll cover a couple of the things that I've gotten via email and stuff like that, and then we'll get into some of your guys' questions. So uh, since some of you noticed the PV, this is actually going to be next up on the trash or treasure thing. Kind of a PV theme lately, but it's a PVTL5. Got this one in, and this is a generation 1. I also got a generation 2. I'll be showing both of those on there. But one of the questions that I got from a few people is why I seem to be going after older basses. Well, there's two reasons for it. This goes a little deep into kind of the current industry and guitar manufacturing and everything. But one of the big reasons is, especially since we're relying so much on imports right now, which isn't a bad thing, but we're getting a lot of stuff from obviously, Korea, Indonesia, things like that. Good to see you, Patrick. Is a lot of the guitars from tons of different companies are coming from the same places. Like a place called World Music in Korea makes like 80% of what we're getting. Again, not a bad thing, and it helps keep prices down to a certain degree. But the problem is that when companies go to these places that they're ordering from, it's kind of like ordering off of, an all-you-could-eat Chinese buffet or something. It's, there's a couple of options, and you tell them how you want it to configure. So bases are becoming more and more homogenized. And if you don't like a specific thing that seems to be popular, you're kind of out of luck. There's nowhere to get it. And there's a couple of things that I've actually really liked from the past, and it's one of the reasons why I've talked about Spectre bases and things like that. It's the same reason why I like a lot of these PVs, is I like maple-bodied bases. For the most part, they're sharp and resonant, and I like a little bit of weight on a bass. I'm one of those guys that doesn't always like something super light. It feels cheap to me. Just my take on it. So a nice solid bass, and you get flame maple in it, really nice looking. One of the really major things, though, that bothers the hell out of me lately is frets. Uh, Everybody has gone to these super jumbo bass frets, and I can't stand them. Like I've learned to just endure them, but I really don't like them, and for two reasons. When you have really massive and tall frets, when you do a slide up the neck, you roll up like that. All of a sudden, it's like, it feels like you're going up train tracks. It's just this chick, 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 all the way up, and that makes me nuts. It doesn't feel smooth. Fast position shifts feel awkward, things like that, and that bugs the hell out of me. The other is that when the frets are higher, it gives the illusion that you're playing on a thicker neck. And if I want a thin or low fast neck, I want smaller frets, because it's kind of like if you think of a distance, like say we have this much that we're playing with as far as the width of the neck. If frets are most of that, then that means most of my width is coming from them, and there's this much wood. I would rather have a smaller fret and more wood, making the neck more resonant and more stable. So if say you've got like an inch of room, one half of the inch is fret and one half is wood. To me, that's not a good deal. I'd rather have like a quarter of an inch in fret and 3/4 in wood. Same width, same feel, but I'm getting more wood and more actual instrument for what I'm cramming into that space. Good to see you, Dee Dee. Uh, so that's kind of my take on it. I think it feels better. It feels like I've got better contact on the board and that kind of thing. And I enjoy that feel better. And again, if I want a specific feel of being about this thick, then I don't want a ton of that feeling like it's frets. It's kind of taking up that thing. Yeah, mandolin and fret wire. I don't know that, again, I don't want super tiny frets, but, medium frets used to be in. And that's actually one of the secrets of vintage instruments. A lot of people don't even realize why they like those things. And a big part of it is that, the older P basses and early Fenders had much slimmer fret wire than the modern ones do. And so when people play them, they don't understand why, but they go, wow, this feels great. That's why. So that's kind of why I've started seeking out some of the older instruments and going back to them, because they're just options that I want. Yeah. Hey, man, Art, good to see you. Yeah, the extra jumbo frets. Again, I play Schecter too. I've got a number of them, and great. They're great basses. If I could change that, I definitely would. It's just, something I would change. The other part being that, going back to something older again, there are options that are available. Like this is a 34 scale 5-string. You can't get those really anywhere anymore, standard. I like a 34 scale neck on a 5, or, if I'm going to go beyond that, I'm probably going to shoot to 37. It's just my preference, and it can work out well. But, trying to find one these days is next to impossible. So I go back to things when, there was a bit more individuality. People used to make their own pickups. There's just more options available when things weren't being mass manufactured by one company. Like I said, not saying it's bad. Obviously, I've got my Schecter right back there. I love these basses and, the ones that I play. But there are things I wish I could change. So, I go back to them. And plus, you find a deal on something. So it's all good times there. Let's see. Schecter is the best brand in the industry. It's tough, man. They kill it on a pretty regular basis. Do you feel brighter tone woods like alder, swamp ash, and maple tend themselves to better the low tunings? That's not necessarily, as I've gone into before. It doesn't always mean that they're going to be brighter. They may be denser. Again, it is luck of the draw. I'm kind of doing, my educated guess here, but I've had maple bodies that were dead too, absolutely dead. I don't think of alder as actually a bright wood either. I feel if we're talking generalities, alder usually when I have it has a thickness to it. I like it, but there's a richness and tone. Actually, I would say this, like this one is all maple, and then a little bit back I showed the Dean bass, the European Select, that has a maple top and an alder back. It is a much darker bass than this. Of course, that could be some, part to the pickups and things like that. There's a lot that goes into it, but I can just tell density-wise, it's darker. So, wood-wise, I don't go with a lot of the voodoo kind of stuff on it. I think a lot of it is, it's over-talked, it's overdone. You can make a good resonant bass out of just about anything. Ash works good, all these different things. But yeah, it really comes down to more, just your overall preference, and then luck of the draw. That individual piece of wood may sound great. Another one, made out of the same thing might not sound as good. So that's why I'm one of those people. It's like, get your hands on it and, make your judgments from there. There's no set in stone rules on it. Let's see. Big fan of the Lacklands are good stuff. Definitely, David. 55. Yeah, came from world music. Almost everything comes from world music. How can I get to play fast with 3 fingers? Watch my video on 3-finger plucking. That's going to do it. And let's see, what do I think about? Well, let me do the 3-finger thing first. Really, it's not magic. If you go over that video, and you guys can let me know this too. Would you like a more extensive update? I don't know how much more I could add, really, but if you go back and watch my 3-finger plucking video, the routine that I set up on how to accomplish it, I feel like was fairly thorough. But if you feel like an update or a thing that incorporates a few new questions on it, let me know. I could probably do that and see what I can do on it. But really, it's about as complete as I could get. But just follow that video, take the time and practice, and do what I'm doing right now. And you'll probably see me kind of absent-minded doing this all the way through the video here, but isolate your rear 2 fingers. I haven't been able to play actually that much for a little bit. Before it goes away, BTBB says, never had experience. I hear good things. I've just got almost 0 experience with Ibanez basses. But I'm isolating these because I jacked my shoulder a little bit and I've been doing some house remodeling. It's taken a toll on my hands. So I'm isolating my weaknesses and doing these 2 fingers and these 2 fingers. And I've just been sitting here the whole time, just going over and over. See, Tom, Rigged Info and Frets, replacing the pickups in your pre-Gibson Tobias Basic 6. Artellini's, for EMG replacements on those, I'd just go P&J. Either the regular P&J or the X series. Depends on the bass and how bright it wants. Technique absolutely does it. Steven, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And of course, the coffee is here. I got a question on that totally the side too. What coffee am I drinking? I actually drink a lot of espresso because I am a crackhead and I literally drink it in mugs this big. But my favorite coffee outside of that is a chicory blend that I get brought in from New Orleans, either Cafe du Monde or CDM. Love that stuff. It has a brutal bite, and you got to like really dark, rich coffee, but it's good stuff. Hello, world. Well, hello, you. Still up in the air. Add 2 more 410 or try 2 115. That is a tough one. I'm going to say stick with the 410s. They seem to travel well, and yeah, depending on which one you're talking about too. But yeah, 410 fan. I'm actually a 212 guy. I like, well, you can see my cab back there. I like the 412, but if I have to cut down, I'll do 212s Neo. Tutorial about getting a bass sound, maybe using an F stomp. I've done a couple of those. If you look at the one I did about Eddie Jackson's tone, that's a good tutorial about that. But when as I'm doing the recording series, which for patrons, if you haven't checked the stems for the song, we're going to walk through a re-recording over up there, so check them out. But as I go through the new series about recording and engineering, there's going to be a ton of this, and we're going to go much deeper than any people should reasonably do for doing sounds. Tech question, Studio One. Have you ever had issues plug-in with that DAW? The only one I ever had a problem with as far as plugins was a set that was really old and was discontinued and they weren't updating the code. Beyond that, I haven't. How's the new Voice of Dissent album going? Carol, incredibly slow. We'll see. I've actually got a ton of material and everything, but it's trying to keep things up with the channel and get the studio finished and everything else. It's one of those things I'm just going to have to sit down and really crush on it. But I'll be walking you guys through part of it too. Hey Brooks, good to see you. Tom, anytime. Yeah, the 412s are awesome, man. Definitely like them. I collect vintage US BC Rich basses. I used to be with BC Rich. Had quite a number of them. Good stuff. 81 Eagle on Maple and a Tone Monster. Yeah, I had a black Eagle with the double P's in it that just, man, I miss that bass. What strings do I like? I've been vacillating a lot. I really, really like the GHS Progressives. I'm not sure where they're headed with those. They seem like they're kind of in in-between point. What I've been using a lot since I can't get them, and I may probably wind up going with permanently, is going to be the Diodario Pro Steels. They seem to last the long, and especially since I seem to have sweat that's like the blood in Alien, it just eats everything that, you know, I get even slightly warm and I can kill a pack of strings in 2 seconds. But yeah, I'm liking them. They've got a good metallic ring to them. But I tried DR. I liked them, but it wasn't 100% what I needed. Let's see. SWR Goliath, yeah. Really good stuff, man. Thoughts on Line 6 Helix? I don't know. I haven't tried it. I haven't really looked into it. I've been blessed enough to have a lot of different options and things, so it's kept me from going to an all-in-one unit. But I tend to like, I kind of have a mad scientist approach about gear. I tend to like to piece a lot of weird things together. So, you know, you could do that with the Helix, but I can't create suddenly like, oh, there's this new distortion I want to add in or something like that. Again, I feel like, in a way, and this is just my thoughts on it, it's kind of like the way I am with the basses, in that I have to take stuff off their menu. And I'd rather kind of piece together my own things. Yeah, the Eagles are pretty classic. Sweats like acid too. I think of Rhoda sound strings, classics. Used to play them all the time, love them. Unfortunately, the quality on them really went downhill, and I had problems for quite a long time. So I do abandon ship. Do I have any Spectres? I do not anymore. Even though some would argue, the Dean bass that I got, which there's going to be an update on that, I'll tell you about it in a minute here. But the Dean bass that I got is pretty much kind of filling that hole for me. That's been working out really well. But that Dean bass that basically, you know, and you can argue with it all day, but basically a Spectre Euro LX, I got a copy of one of the early Spectre HasLab preamps. And I'm going to be putting that inside that Dean bass, so it will be more Spectre than Spectre. But that's going to be real cool, getting it really close to the sound of an NS2. Is your preamp coming out this year? I have no idea. It'll have to depend on when I can get it perfected and what the places I'm talking to can do manufacturing wise and things. Let's see, maybe some video about bass wah patterns coming up. I got a really cool bass wah from AMT they sent out to me, so that's going to be coming up here. One day I will have a Mockingbird bass. Yep, I've got a red one over there, and I actually have a black one hanging out in Japan that's waiting to come to me. So, just joined. What did I miss? Everything! I literally sequenced the DNA code of everybody here, and now that's gone. So, great. Now, good to see you, Alias. Let's see. So as far as one of the things, and just kind of to finish out one of the other questions about why I go back on, and I've been going back and getting older basses. I've been stockpiling a little bit, one, because of the channel. And, you know, as I mentioned before, some of this stuff will be coming up for sale because I can't reasonably, you know, keep everything that I'm doing for the trash or treasure thing or stuff. But one thing that I'll say is, and you guys have probably noticed, that guitar prices are going up and the used market has gotten pretty ridiculous. I thought after COVID and people didn't have unemployment checks to keep blowing on guitar stuff, that the price would start to come down, but I'm starting to rethink that. I honestly think that the days of us being spoiled with cheap guitars are probably over. And yes, we are spoiled right now. People want to scream about it, but this is about the, I'd say 2015 was about the cheapest I've ever seen that much available at that price. And the main thing is, the main reason is going to be that we've run out of places to go for cheap labor. You know, we went to Japan first, and that brought, you know, good overseas values. But as workers get more skilled in things, then they demand more money, and then we move to Korea. and then they moved to Indonesia, and then there's some in China. But we're starting to run out of countries, and these skilled laborers deserve their money and everything, but that also means we aren't going to be able to live off of the beginning stages of them building their industries. So that's bringing stuff up. Plus the dollar is tanking, bad overseas stuff. I think combination altogether, we're seeing the end of the good deal import stuff, at least at any reasonable quality. So that's had me going back to and kind of scooping up the stuff I want. And yeah, so that's that. Let's see. Should you go to Berkeley? That's a deep question. That's a tough one to answer in a short space. You really have to. It depends mostly what you're going it for. If you really want to get deep into the academics of studying composition and things like that, then I feel it's worth it. I have to say, if you're just going to learn bass or guitar, or you want a more consistent education, I would say try and get your own motivation together. Save yourself an absolute ton of money. Get a good individual teacher and study with somebody good. And, there's so many resources out there now that, just learning to play your instrument well doesn't require the amount of output and money and pausing your life. And, get out there and play. What do I think about bass signatures of famous bass players? Some good stuff, or is it cheap bass with a famous name? Utterly depends. There is a lot of crap out there just with somebody's name on it. Thankfully, I feel like in the bass market, it's not as bad as the guitar market. Some people just sign their name to some crap. But, like with the Rudy Sarzo bass, those things are absolute killers. And I don't care if his name's on it. It is a solid, amazing bass. But, yeah, I would say it just kind of depends. Loving your frets. I noticed that your strings are pretty low and it sounds clear and tight. I do it myself. I'm actually going to be opening a side business out of my studio doing it because there's nobody in my area who does even basic repair. I've got people for much more extensive stuff. Talk to Danny Gable here if you want some major stuff, but basic maintenance and things. I'm astounded at guys that can barely string up an instrument and call themselves a tech. So, and plus growing up broke, I had to learn to do a lot of stuff. So it's not that hard, but get a practice neck, something cheap, and try it out. There's tons of tutorials, and hit me up on the channel. Especially watch the new series I'm doing called The Chop Shop. I'm going to be going over some of that. Developed economics drives up prices. Yeah, good for them. Vintage stuff is gonna your Ironbird bass. Ugh. Depending on it, I may be one of those crazy offers. I've always liked those, man. I miss pointy guitars, which I have a pointy guitar being developed. So that's another one on the radar. We've used the Mesa Subway bass amp. Recently got rid of my dark glass amp, looking into Mesa bass amps. Any opinions on the new? I haven't used the new Mesa stuff because I'm completely pedal based now. I haven't really been getting into heads. I hear good things. I liked a lot the Mesa Carbine head. So those are two different animals, but that's really the last one I have experience with. And for people who've asked, I'm using all preamps and pedals. My board, I'm completely redoing with some cool new stuff. I'll be showing that soon, but I go pedals into, you can see it on top of my cabinet back there, not very well, but the white bottom strip is 2 AMT Bass Zealot Class D power amps, super light. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to have demos of that and a lot more AMT stuff coming up. That's going to be on my channel and on Guitar Interactive, which is why a few of my demos, well, a lot of my demos have been held back because we're going to be sharing content and things. So those are going to be on Guitar Interactive magazine as well. Let's see. Prog or Gent? Metal. So it's a little freedom between friends. There you go. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, Danny. Oh, we all got to stick this out together. There's fewer and fewer of us. Do I miss the SLS Elite, the tone of your demo with the JST Hellraiser? Oh, well, I technically have the SLS Elite. I've gotten this question a number of times. Glad you brought that up. If you can see, I have the Evil Twin back there. The reason I let one go is because I'm pretty merciless about gear. If I'm not going to be using it all, I feel like it's got to go into the hands of somebody who will. The Elite and the Evil Twin are the same instrument. They feel and sound the exact same. The only difference in between them is the Elite has a clear coat, and it's a fairly thin one. There's almost zero difference in between them. You're quite welcome. Let's see. Brands would you recommend for a budget 6-string? Look up Agile. They have some inexpensive ones. I would also, I'd go back a little bit. Try an old Carbon. Really, really good, especially 90s era. Really good quality on those. I'm actually going to see if I can hunt down a PVT L6. What else would there be? There's a couple of companies making pretty reasonable ones. I'd probably go Agile, Bryce. They're all basically the same company, but something like that. And even Court, if you can find some of the old used ones, don't discount them. They're good ones. 87 neck through black. Oh, and I love the binding, man. Love it. Post a link up to some pictures. Love to see it, man. Evil Twin, yes, right behind me there. Heard of the Bass Butler of Orange? Really? Now you need to do a demo. I've actually been curious about those. I'd like to hear it. Orange is real interesting. Yeah, I like stuff that has a different tone to it, even if it's not my sound. I feel like there's, too many people are doing the same sound all the time right now. So I like seeing somebody who's willing to kind of left turn somewhere. Pre-ordered the Evil Twin. There you go. Slate Raven on my desk. It is. Definitely. That thing's been really, really cool, and it's saved my wrist a lot, definitely. Carbon have a good reputation. Yep, they do. And this is one of the few times I'll go, about something, because I just don't feel the need to trash stuff too much. But I would definitely go Carbon. I'm not really a Kiesel fan. My thing. So if you're going to get one, my preference would be go for one of the older ones. Send a few to your Facebook. Sounds great, man. Spectre Legend Classic. There you go. Everybody helping each other out. Spectre Legend Classic, good price for a 6-string. Actually, I shipped the EQ for prog metal, something like Dream Theater. That's not a simple answer. I have no idea what tone you're starting with, so I can't really guide you. One thing I can say, and this will sound a little but John Myung is a phenomenal player, and I love his work. His tone is pretty boring though. Really, it's fairly dull. I would say just if that's kind of the sound you want, it's not going to be that hard to get. Make sure your low end is really tight so that speed runs are solid, and yeah, remove as much fret clank as you can, actually, because he actually hates that kind of thing. So let's see. Take on Queensryche versus Jeff Tate, OG singer, average band, or OG singer. My take on Queensryche, I'm always going to have to go Jeff Tate because, I mean, let's face it, Todd's a phenomenal singer, but if you listen to his solo stuff, when he's in Queensryche, he's definitely aping Jeff Tate. And while that's cool and it helps him carry on and everything with the same style, I'm always going to give credit to the OG. And plus, Mindcrime. I feel like that's the one word that settles the argument. Bass Butler is great. Yeah, man, do a video, link it up. Love to see it. Like to hear what the Bass Butler can do. Are you planning on doing any episodes on Fretless? I am. Definitely. I'm going to be doing, well, I'll keep it quiet for now because I've already added 2 series, but there's another one I'm thinking of. That'll be semi-regular where I talk about more exotic options, effects, fretless, things like that. My own tongue is but I love Dream Theater and his playing, and it works for the band. Absolutely. I'm not pissing on John. I mean, again, his tone is the opposite of what I go for, but I'm also not the bass player for Dream Theater up there just crushing it. When I was at, Christ, a long time ago, before I moved from the East Coast, I got to see those guys in a small club. And I don't know why it happened, but Young's solo changed and was diminished from that time. I saw that guy do a bass solo that absolutely destroyed everybody else in the band. I mean, it was epic and beautiful, and it had style and taste and shred. And yeah, I have absolutely nothing but respect for that guy. Phenomenal. And especially since he does it looking so consistently bored is what kills me. He's just up there crushing. So yeah, no complaints about that guy. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, I'll put this out there, but I had a question as far as you guys. You want to chime in? As far as internet forums, Facebook groups, things like that, do you guys participate in them a lot? And what ones do you think are good? Which ones do you not like? I'm real curious about that because I've been trying to post a little bit more content out and around the web, or see if I can, help out with some lessons or doing stuff. And my old thoughts and bagging on web forums just seems to be coming back to haunt me. It's just like this horrible sewer of people with really old man thinking, and it's just brutal. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Yeah, Young definitely has the day at the office look. Bass Boogie Triacs. So they were just for guitar. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Again, because I wasn't that interested in his tone, I didn't look too far into it. Any more microscopes? Yeah, I'm going to address that. Rex Brown is on the list. Geddy Lee definitely would be another one. I keep getting these kind of, and I apologize, stutter starts and stops on Metal Bass Microscope. Part of it is I have to be tactical with it because I don't care about monetization or anything. I mean, I don't make money off these videos, seriously. But I can handle the demonetization for using audio clips or something like that. I don't care. But I have to really be concerned because some of these people really get nuts and they decide that they're, basically going to give you a strike and try and come after your channel. And that's the part I got to worry about, because if I rack up a few, then they really have to, it could really cause real damage to the channel. What I'm very likely looking at is doing the Metal Bass Microscope episodes, but then probably publishing them outside of YouTube. Just going to any of the other sites, Dailymotion or BitChute or any place where I'm just not going to get, absolutely banhammered by copyright and everything, and then, put it up in the community or something. And also, RodneyMcGee.com. There's going to start being a lot more information on that page directing you to other places where I have content because of the copyright and things, and also because I'm not getting through to a lot of people. I mean, I've got almost 7,500 subscribers right now, and the overwhelming majority of people aren't seeing the videos. YouTube is kind of moving in a direction of wanting to be more big shows, and it's less going to be YouTube and more you watching tube. So it's getting a little corporate, and smaller creators are getting kind of marginalized. So I'm going to start focusing a little bit more on other routes, because, what sense does it make to keep trying to get subscribers and things like that? And if you haven't subscribed and stuff, please hit. It definitely helps in the rankings, and I can get stuff out. But, being able to put things in places where, one, I'm not going to get censored or attacked, and two, I'm actually going to reach the people who want to see it, it makes sense. So I'm going to do the best I can with Microscope, but like I said, I get hit every time I do it. And the other part is I'm actually trying to do like I did with Jack from Exodus, see if I can get a hold of the artist and do a follow-up interview and release those around the same time, so we can hear directly from the person all the real deal info. Collaborations with Alfie in the future. Carol, I would love to work with Alfie. He is absolute class and a really good guy, and it's almost dangerous for us to get in conversations because we wind up talking forever. I'd love to do more with him. I actually was thinking of him and reaching out again soon. I appreciate the metal bass evolution. I'm thinking that that may be the way the upcoming podcast goes. For those of you who missed it or don't know, I'm trying to work some of the stuff into a podcast. And that would be a place I'd love to have Alfie on and just talk and do stuff like that. We put a lot of time and work into metal bass evolution. And again, you can see it there. Most people don't even know about it. You know, a big multi-episode collaboration that covered the entire history of metal bass and who affected it and what industry changes were. And it was one of the lowest performing videos because it just didn't have the right hashtags, didn't have the right thing or whatever. Everybody who's watched it loves it. Anybody, but most people, even on my channel, don't even know about it. So that's why I'm thinking about going towards a podcast or releasing that stuff where it'll get shown just as well as my other videos do. Looked into Twitch. Yep, not a fan of Twitch. They have a number of the same censorship issues. They really went after the Dragon Force guy. And I don't get into politics. I don't do a lot of stuff like that. But anytime I start hearing people saying, if you say this or you say that, we're going to take you down. It's like, well, then I got no interest, because eventually, no matter what it is, even if I'm just talking bass, I'm going to say something somebody doesn't like. And I'm not putting up with that crap. Why put all that energy into a platform when eventually they've shown if you run afoul of them, they're going to take it down. It's like, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't do anything controversial. I'm just talking bass. But, first they came for, the artists. Then, let's see. The series you did with Alfie is how you challenge him. Well, see, that's awesome. And for every guy like you, Stephen, that's most don't know. So I'm glad you found it. Let's see. Laurie Pora. Oh, that's meant for someone else. There. Are you in touch with Jack? I can contact Cragen to get his contact info. I'm not sure which Jack you mean. I was talking about Jack from Exodus, but earlier. But yeah, I've already interviewed him. Well, Ross can't please everyone. Yeah, I'm just trying to please anyone at this point. Rarely practice with amp. Haven't practiced DI and headphones, preamps, pedals. Do you think I should practice more with an amp or stay in my in-ear? Totally up to you. As long as you can hear yourself and you can accurately gauge your tone and everything, you should be all good. I know after a while, my headphones would start to get on my nerves just from wearing headphones. But yeah, if it works for you, run with it. Basis of Stradivarius. Very nice. Yeah, I would definitely, I'd like to look into him. He's done some phenomenal work. Jack of Exodus. Yeah, I did an interview with Jack and his profile. They're both here on the channel. What publications do you recommend for theory? I don't recommend publications. I would more try and find a good tutorial video series where you can hear somebody talk. My biggest problem, and this goes back to somewhat the thing earlier about Berkeley, is that unfortunately, and this is my biggest attack on academia, even though I emphasize education a lot, is a lot of these professors and things make things incredibly convoluted because they like to hear themselves talk, and they want to make it sound like there's all this complicated crap going on, so that they can feel like they've mastered something so amazing. And, the harder you struggle with it, the better they seem to feel about themselves. And I can't get with that. If anybody who's gone through my skeleton key system or anything like that about, learning the fingerboard and stuff and testify, I break things down as fast as possible so that you can play and understand it. To me, my job as a teacher is to get you there as quick as possible. I realize this is a long answer. but a lot of the publications are very old school academia and are really confusing. If you want some really good theory stuff, I would recommend go to Rick Beato's YouTube channel and just search for theory and watch everything he does. The guy's brilliant and you'll learn a lot. So I would go that way. Like August Burns Red, listed as a monster. Also, I've only heard pieces of them. I feel like I've heard more of them than I know because so much stuff blows through. I've never really sat down to do it, but I've always heard good things. The forums are like politics. Yeah, exactly. Do I have trouble with computer noise and a DAW? Let's see. That's a two-sided question. I don't have it as far as my computer and things, but definitely with some interfaces. And I would not ever try and polish a turd. Always get the good sound on the way in. Basically, your recording is 90% prep. And I try and get that across all the time. And again, we'll cover that in the recording stuff. But the better you do it on the front end, the less garbage you got to deal with on the other end. And noise can't be isolated by itself. It can't. You always are going to lose some of the quality of your signal because you are cutting out sound. So get that stuff worked out ahead of time. Get yourself a power conditioner. Do some rewiring if you have to. Whatever it takes. Get the best possible signal you can. And that's going to make a world of difference in your recording. Go ahead. Well, I appreciate that, Brooks. Glad you're getting something out of it. Okay, thank you. This is one of the very few pages I watch as much as possible. Dinah, truly appreciate that, man. Really like having you aboard. Let's see. Polish form's the thing that's always neat. An old guy who keeps writing. Yes, 69 precision and Ampeg. Yeah. I don't want to say I know any forums like that. Pace. But yeah, I've been dealing with a little bit of that lately with people who think that any tone beyond the emergency broadcast system signal is too aggro and fretty noise. Oh, God. Welcome to the 20th century. I'm sure you got to ground loop the interface. Yep, good advice, Steven. Thanks for the Rick Beato recommendation. Subscribe to him. Very simple, very clear. Yep. Thessaling, yes. Absolute genius. Absolute amazing. That's one of the reasons that when I sit with Fretless, I get a little edgy. Yeah, there. Like I said, on the Fretless topic again, I find that somebody asked me this, where to get an approach, and our man up here, going by the name Ad Astra, did a death cover that I'll be giving him a little bit of exposure here next week, but he absolutely crushed it in our boot camp session and did some Fretless work. But I always say when people are like, what Fretless should I do? How to get started with Fretless. If you're going to go in and attack this, I absolutely recommend don't start with metal, because unfortunately the real high speed stuff, you'll do better for yourself, unless you're just diving in 100%. But one of the things, if you really, really want to get good with it, is you've got to slow it down, because you have to make sure your intonation is on and correct. Go to like the masters who are playing a bit more melodic stuff, because that's when it's really going to check you. Until you develop your ear and you can tell at high speed when your intonation is off, you need to really, really get that stuff down. So go to guys like Pino Palladino, Patrick O'Hearn, any of the really amazing rock masters like that, Tony Franklin, and make sure you can get that intonation down. And then when you attack things, it'll sound a lot better, and you'll already have your tuning down. But yeah, when you see next week, my man Astra absolutely crushed it on that video. So hats off to him, because Fretless is a challenge. Just bought a Harley Benton bass head and Hartley cab. Sound really good. Well, good recommendation there. So anybody looking for stuff, check out the Benton and the Hartley. My vision of hell is when you need to play. Now, see, that's one of the things. I'm actually in the market for a fretless. That's because I want to do the new series and stuff too. I have a really great fretless with lines. I want to switch to one without lines because I want to develop my ear, make sure that it's as good as I think it is. And I don't know, to me, there's something very classic and elegant about it, you know, just seeing that blank neck and going for it. So, did you make a video about Steve Trujillo? That is definitely in the works. I'm actually, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, I've done a couple of reach outs. I'm trying to get in touch with him and hopefully have him on the channel. Took a video from Steve Lawson on fretless. Extremely precise. Yeah, Lawson's great. Got some great pointers on that too. Do I like Rammstein? Yeah, Rammstein for me is I have to do it once in a while, but when I just want to get stupid and go for it, to me they're kind of like the shock metal AC/DC. You're not going to get innovation out of them. You're not going to get anything new, and they're basically playing the same song over and over. But it's a damn good song, and it's fun. Using Fenders that I mod the crap out of and still praise the Sans amp by Tech 21. Yes. Also coming up very soon here. I'm just working some stuff out with Guitar Interactive, but I'm going to be doing a feature on the channel and on Guitar Interactive where I'm going to show off the Sans amp RBI rack, which is back there, and the newest version of the bass driver, version 2. And contrast, because a lot of people think there's a difference, but I'm going to show the difference in between them, connection, sound-wise, everything, and do a serious A/B in between them. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Recommend Harley Benton stuff. Minor QC, yeah, they seem to kill it, Harley Benton, with some good, you know, economy price stuff. So I'm all about it. Getting used to using just the side dots. Good man. Let's see. Need to attach a flamethrower to my bass. Yeah, maybe I'll try and be original. Maybe I'll just go napalm or something like that. And that'll, I'll make sure it's always aimed at the singer for when they forget when to come in. With my Sans amp, you can sound like anybody. It's an incredibly versatile set of units, and they have a lot of different flavors. So on the note of somebody asked earlier about replacing, and I've gotten this question a lot about actives, and I'm going to do a short video coming up here soon too about which EMGs to pick on which bass. Like when I had a Tobias and I put EMGs in it and replaced the Bartolinis. Let's see. I really, it's kind of a myth that even active pickups are going to sound the same in every bass. Like I'm doing some swap outs right now, and you kind of have to go with flavors. I generally lean to the PJ, or for me, the double P setup is what I wind up going for. But I was really 100% X Series EMGs for a while. Now I've gone back and forth because there's a balance that goes on, and not all my basses sound the same. Like the Evil Twin back there, I had 2P EMG X Series in it. Sounded great. But when I went to higher gain things, like when I used the Doug Pinnick pedal, there was a bit of a chorusy kind of blur, almost like there was too much focus in one range. I switched back to the original non-X EMG, really close, but just took that bright edge out that I needed. And that worked perfect. So you really, you know, don't believe this crap about everyone sounds the same. And I'm going to do an A/B in a video coming up. But yeah, you have to kind of go with flavor and, you know, what suits the bass. So I would say go with your best instinct, and then, you know, be willing to trade out on a forum or something like that and try new ideas. Let's see. Willing to tell us a little about yourself, heritage, early life? I've actually done that. There's video here on the channel called Why Should You Listen to Me? And it goes into basically everything you would want to know and a lot you may not want to know. So if you hunt down that video here on the channel, it should answer most of that type of stuff for you. EMG Acolyte, but I want to try something different with Fishman's and Evil Twin. Then I say go for it. Different strokes. It was an older model. Heard that Star's company was a bit shaky. All right. Put a set of EMG passive Butler PJ pickups in my late 80s BC Rich. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got, especially on the passive front, I got nothing but good stuff to say about the Butlers. I kind of wish I had an extra P bass around or something to toss them into. Really good sounding, really classic. And for those of you that might not know, they are basically an exact copy of the best 62 precision P bass pickup they can find. So you're getting a really classic pickup with there, and but done to make it a little clearer and take out noise and give it better output. So yeah, Mr. Becker would know all about those geezers. Let's see. Butler's Top Sound Dog. He is a classic. Raving in the UK, Europe about Dark Glass. Played a few products, don't hear anything special. Yeah, it's not for everybody. And it's definitely over here too. I think my biggest problem, yeah, I've done kind of, I want to make this clear too. I don't, even though it sounds like it a few times, and some people have raised the issue with me, but they've talked about how I kind of slam the dark glass Dingwall, this kind of combo that people have used as basically a really expensive preset. I don't have a problem with dark glass. I don't have a problem with Dingwall. Both are quality products, perfectly usable. The problem I have is that people buy this and they dial both of them in exactly the same for the same tone. I'm fairly well convinced that these two things are capable of other sounds, but people aren't doing that. So I do have a bit of a, when somebody tells me, oh, I just bought a Dingwall and a dark glass, because half the time I go like, you have no voice. You have no individual character, nothing. And that bugs the hell out of me. But I would love to hear this combo. I have nothing bad to say them individually. It's more about the people who use them and keep trying to be Nolly the 9 billionth. It's like, come on, guys. Step up the game here. For Jason Newstead or Robert Trujillo, I'm not necessarily sure what may be implied by I prefer, but I like Newstead. He's closer, I think, to, I like Trujillo's approach to bass lines a little better, but I like Jason's attitude and tone. So absolutely love G&L MFD pickups. So underrated. Yeah, I'm hoping to finally get that G&L review up here soon, and I hear nothing but good things. Feel about clean vocals in some of the bands these days. Great. I don't have a problem. Again, that's another one that really depends. What do you mean by clean vocals? If I don't like, I've become bored with full out batshit grunting all the time too. To me, it's a crutch. It's, I don't want to actually write vocals, so I'm just going to all the way through a song. Like, okay, that to me is just as boring. I don't like weak sounding clean vocals. I like something with some grit. Give me, if I'm going to hear clean, it's amazing to me that what's considered clean now used to be, gritty back in the day. But give me John Bush from Anthrax days, or even later Armored Saint or something. That kind of clean, fantastic. The really operatic clean, if it's classic or power metal, sure. The really kind of emo clean stuff, that's just not my vibe. Clock and Clang for clarity. Never tried it, but Mr. Ross has a recommendation there. Seems like we're in the dark glass Dingwall era. Yeah. Yep, we definitely are. Dark glass really did something interesting. Yeah. And again, I'm sure it's capable of more than what I hear most people use it for. That's my problem. Those knobs work. I'm sure of it. There has to be a better sound in there somewhere. And GLS bases is, I guess, as soon as they can free one up, absolutely. I know overseas and especially import things and stuff are tough right now, but I am in touch with the man, and I'm sure as soon as one's available, I'll be getting it here. My favorite EMG combination, PJ, Purple Riot has. Yeah, the CS are really great. I'm a bit more aggro. I think I use PJ a lot. The one that I use the most is a double P combo though. Base Channel did a dark glass defense video. Dark glass for other things in metal. Good for them. Very cool. Let's see. Dark glass defense video. Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that one out. Good for them for doing that. Maybe some people start actually getting their own sound together. Yeah, Newstead's tone was amazing. The thing that hit me with Newstead when I first became aware of him, even at a really young age, I could tell immediately a difference was when Garage Days came out, and I heard the intro to what was it, Crash Course in Brain Surgery, and I heard him jamming that Spectre. I was like, oh, good morning. There's something new going on here. John Bush is awesome. I love that guy. Vocally, I steal constantly from him. Metal Church vocals, yeah. Well, which one? You've had a number of really great singers in there. Doug Keyser or John Young? Ooh, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on that one. There's a Harky bass attack in front of my Microtube Ultra. Switch off my DK for channel. See, there you go. Trying out something new. Geo is using a Harky into one of the dark glass and getting his own tone together. That's what I'm talking about. Our class amp is versatile, but has a distinct tone. Mid frequencies. Yeah. Again, I think it's very much in fashion, and unfortunately for them, I think it's not Dark Glass's fault. You know, it's the audience that's done it. But I think eventually you'll see that, oh, the Nolly sound isn't in anymore, so all of a sudden they're going to be cheap used everywhere. Favorite 6-string bass, my go-to. My favorite 6-string bass I don't have anymore, so I can't go to it, but that's going to change here. My favorite 6-string bass of all time was a pre-Gibson Tobias Basic 6 that I put EMGs in. Just gorgeous. Love it. My Schecter Stiletto is really good. You've probably seen a few pictures, the blue and black one. And then, like I said, I have a project going on back there that I think is going to shape up really nice. Is a PV Cirrus 6-string that's unfinished, and I'm going to reshape the neck a little bit. And that, I get the feeling, is going to wind up being the go-to until I build my own. Totally agree with you about Dingwall. Prefer Sans amp. Yeah, again, there's alternatives out there, but got to do your own thing. Let's see. Who's my favorite jazz bass player? Ooh, it's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, that's. I don't really, because I don't think of it as in favorites. There's just guys I like at everything, so it's tough to come up with an actual favorite. Wow. Yeah, you got me there. I'll have to think on that for a couple minutes. Who's some underrated bassists you think need more awareness? All of them. All of them. I've talked about him before. Timmy Hansen, who unfortunately we lost a little while ago, the original bassist for King Diamond and Merciful Fate, made fantastic bass lines. Even though he's a classic, people don't talk about him more, but that's coming up too. Bob Daisley from the original Ozzy band, phenomenal. Juan Alderete from Mars Volta and used to be in Racer X is really good. And who else would I toss in that mix? I'm going to say Patrick O'Hearn, but it's not metal. So let's see. Any advice for practice your fretting hand, especially if you have a screwed up pinky? Yes, just consistent hand exercise. Watch my warm-ups in Metal Bass Monday. Go back and just do a thing on chops, and I cover all kinds of ways of, and that's what I'm doing right now, is focusing in on my weak fingers to get them back up to speed. But yeah, do a search for chops and warm-ups, and I cover a lot of that. Best plugins for metal, not overly distorted. Tired of the same dark glass tone. If you're talking plugins, It can do a lot more than people realize, but the JST Hellraiser, I use it a lot. Good stuff. Bush's tremendous frontman. Let me see. Let me roll back here just a bit. Yeah, I like Belladonna. I don't like his melodies as much. I feel like Bush's stuff in Anthrax, his melody choices were better. But Bush is just, man, he's just a grunt machine. I absolutely love that guy. Grunge Thrax. Hey, man, We Come For You All is one of the best Anthrax albums, even though it's not as much thrash. I will put that up. I will fight that one to the death. Bass is super heavy. Love the sound, but it's hard to play standing up. Any tips? You're not going to get around that one. Sorry to say, Raphael. If you have a bass like that, one of, unfortunately, my solutions to it would probably be keeping it as you're recording and the bass that you record with, and then get something that's a little easier for you live where the tone doesn't have to be as precise. That or, and one of the best things I'm actually doing it now is I've just got to get better into physical shape and, my back and support muscles and things. It makes a huge difference. I've noticed that heavier basses didn't used to bother me. They're starting to a bit. So I'm going to improve my body to accommodate rather than try and start diminishing. So that's really the only two ways around it, I guess. I'm in tone on Evergray's The Atlantic. I keep getting the Evergray thing, man. I've got it sitting here on my drive, and I got to check it out. I keep hearing nothing but good stuff. Really got to look into it. Randy Coven, yes! Holy crap. My man, Astra. That's really horrible thing to say, though. Randy Coven, phenomenal bassist, just got brought up. Jazz and fusion and everything. If you can find it, I think it's on YouTube. He had an instructional video out. Actually had a lot of really good, interesting stuff in it. But if you want to watch somebody going through a serious, damn near cocaine overdose while filming an instructional video, watch that video. The guy is constantly jittery and all the way through the video. It's horrifying, but it is what it is. Top 5 jazz players. Oh, man. John Patitucci's got to be up there. He just plays great things. Jimmy Hayslip. Spectacular. And does some great fretless lines. What else would I think? I'm blanking a little bit. I'll toss in some more as we go. Hey, friends. Devil Son. Have a good one, man. Good to see you. Jimmy Bain, absolutely. Great classic lines. Yeah, Diary of a Madman has some of the best hard rock metal bass lines that have been or will be written. Another surprise, I'll let it out on here, but I did a note-for-note exact, better than anybody on the web, and all their transcriptions are wrong. That's why you shouldn't use tab. A cover of SATO from Diary of a Madman, and it's a killer. Really got into it, and it turned out better than I hoped, so it'll be a good one. Joe DeBossi, yep, another one. Great. Pierce BC1 preamps. Yep, same Billy Sheehan. Yeah, they've gone through the roof, too. Belladonna is a better fit for Anthrax's overall sound, but Bush is a hell of a singer. Yeah, like I said, I loved the guy the first time I heard Armored Saint. I saw them when I snuck into a club when I was like 11 years old. And he just blew me away. And if you listen to any Voice of Dissent, not saying I took a few cues from him, but I took a few cues from him. Yeah, Jimmy Bain, I mean, yeah, just too many great bass lines to say. I feel like Jimmy Bain was the more aggro-tone version of Bob Daisley. So they both come from that same school. Almost R&B pop cleans. Okay, gotcha. Gotta get some back workouts in. I do. I sit like this all the time, and it's taking its toll on me. Greg Christensen from Testament. Yeah, definitely. I think it's because Trujillo overshadows him because he's, just a virtuoso. But yeah, the New Order, Trial by Fire, bass lines like that, and even like the little Eastern sounding fills he does in the middle of Over the Wall off the first album, man. They really, tasteful, solid stuff. First show, luck in the steam. Oh man, good for you, man. Hope you enjoy it. Report back with how it goes. Yeah, it's a shame what Daisley's got, and I think that's a big part of why they Ozzy and Sharon really robbed him of his rock god status, because of, you know, the way he was written out, and the fact that, and this is no slam on Rudy, but the fact that a lot of people think it's Rudy Sarzo on those albums, you know. Have you tried transcribe any Watchtower songs? No, I've progressed in self-hatred up to the point of actually jabbing myself in the eye with a fork, but trying to do Watchtower. I probably will at some point for the hell of it, and just to absolutely make myself insane. But yeah, anybody modern who thinks they're challenging progressive metal has never heard Watchtower. Those guys were just monstrous. Geo, it is not. It's actually been sitting around for quite a while. I have to finish the vocals on it, and it's not going to happen until I get the space finished up and finish out the booth here. But tell you what, brother, promise not to roll it around. Hit me on Facebook, and I'll get you the pre-vocal mix so you can really dive into the bass. Giorgio was awesome, but he's doing too much in Testament. I like it. To each their own, I guess. Believer's a good one. Yeah, classic P sound. Interesting note, a lot of people don't know Bob Daisley, on a number of, not in the studio, but live, used to play a double P Mockingbird bass for a while. The great work. Thank you very much. It was good to have you on the channel. Glad you can make it in here, man. What are your opinions on Thunderbirds? Tone-wise, I think that could be interesting. It's kind of a cool thing. My thing with Thunderbirds is that I've never, ever had one that didn't have a neck dive like an Olympic swimmer. It's intolerable how bad it is, and I just can't, I can't support a neck the whole night. Cool to look at, stuff like that, but, at a certain point, no matter how radical a design is, it's got to be functional. And, I especially with those the Gibson style headstock and those tuners. Ooh. But sound wise, I have actually one of my teachers at Musicians Institute, who was in a metal band, did an album with a Thunderbird that was phenomenal. Check out a band called Speak No Evil, and they had an album called Welcome to the Downside. You hear a couple bass parts when you hear him stand out. That is a Gibson Thunderbird. Jared Smith from Archspire. Yeah, I've talked about him before. Phenomenal. There is no stones you can throw at that guy. And how to do stuff like breaking free from the guitar parts. I have talked about it in Metal Bass Mondays. We'll talk about it some more. Maybe I'll do like a seminar on it. Let me know what you guys would think about that, about getting away from guitar riffs. Because I've talked about it before on Metal Bass Monday. I've shown a few approaches, but maybe we'll just I'll do a guitar riff and then just attack it from 4 or 5 different directions without actually playing the riff. Let me know if that would interest you guys. Favorite female bassist? I don't care. And the way I mean that is I don't kind of subset people. It's like you're either good or not. I don't care if you have boobs or whatever it is, or so I don't really think of it that way. I either think, oh, it's a great bassist, or lame. Let me see. But if I have to put in there a female bassist, you can't go wrong with Michelle Nadiacello. Amazing. Tal Wilkenfeld's great. Joe Bench from Bolt Thrower. I got to throw in Sean Yseult, even though, she's not a real prominent bassist, but she's an absolute sweetheart and does great. There's a number of them out there. Almost got a Mockingbird, but it was neck diving. Yeah. See, I had to search for quite a while to find 2 that didn't neck dive. Thankfully, the red one that I have that I've shown before and the black one that's on the way, they don't really have that problem, which luck of the draw, I guess. Let's see a dedicated video. Okay. Note made. I will do that. Joe Bench and Bolt Thrower. Yeah. Exactly. And I love her attitude, man. Joe's just awesome. Kill chain. I'll look into it. Best B string in your opinion? The one I happen to be playing. By that being, uh, again, if you check out the Metal Bass Monday where I talk about the crap behind B strings and stuff, it's not something I can say for a whole series. Like this bass has a phenomenal one. The PBTL series do great. I'm sure I'm not getting signal here. Uh, but well, perfect example. And here it's going to sound like crap because I'm just on the regular mic. But everybody keeps saying, oh, you have to have all these special things and everything. But that is a tight B string. And by tight, I mean sound, not thing. Good, solid. It's a 34 scale, maple neck. That's it. It's about engineering. So my Basic 6 had a phenomenal one. This has a great one. The Evil Twin has a killer B string on it. And also the Riot bass. Yeah, I've heard a number of them. I wouldn't say necessarily best. They're going to have different flavors, but those are out of my collection, the ones that I like the best. Let's see. Chick Fernandez, Lyra, Ex Nervos. I will look into that. Nervosa. Let's see. Under Lyra. Huh. Gets an upvote. I'll have to check him out. You think tuner extenders are viable for live shows in place of a B string? Do you mean like the drop keys? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there, so let me know. Clear note definition. Yeah, this thing's amazing. What tuning do you prefer for drop D on a 5 string? I'm not sure on that one either, too, because drop D is a tuning. So let me know. I'm not sure the question on that one, so let me know. Same taste for bass, I guess. There we go. Yeah, it's clear as a bell. So, like I said, this one, and I've got series 1 and 2, so I'll be contrasting those and talking about them. Yes, the drop keys, my bad. And the hip shot extenders. I dig them. I definitely do. That's I would install them on more bases if I didn't already have a billion projects. I really find them helpful. I find it kind of a pain in the butt a lot of times because I do a number of things that go in between straight and drop. And to me, I never saw extenders get used to the extent that I saw them as a great thing. The other person, jazz bass player, and see, this brought me around to a full reference, Michael Manring, astounding. But using the hip shot extenders to switch tunings in the middle of a song, I always thought was a great idea to be able to play a whole thing in standard tuning. And then for like a really aggressive breakdown or something, click into drop tuning to go down a whole step and then pull back in, to me, is genius. So I'd like to see more people do that. Speed tips for improvement with fingerstyle. I do. I'll go into it real briefly, but look up the Metal Bass Monday where I specifically talk about chops and a couple of speed things. I've covered it like 4 or 5 times. One is going to be check out the 3-finger speed video if you really want to develop a 3rd finger and how to get that together. The biggest thing that I find winds up screwing up people's tone or their speed is their hands aren't synced together. They'll get, kind of going with this hand, and they forget that if this one can't move as fast, this is for nothing. You've got to get that kind of, they have to match up. So doing patterns where you sync them together and they're clear and exact, you're not doing 2 hits on this one. When people speed up, they tend to just throw at it and go scattershot. But yeah, there's a lot covering. If you want to go back to Metal Bass Mondays, look up chops, warm-ups, and speed. And there, like more tips than I could ever give you inside of a lesson in there. Hip shot extender on my 4. I get annoyed because it throws the other strings out of tune. Oh, that's weird. That shouldn't happen. I would wonder if the neck's not that stable then, because it shouldn't do that. Any advice on how to get rid of red dot fever? Yeah, record more. The only way to get around stuff like that is just get used to recording all the time. And the other is one of the things that I used to do, well, being the artist, it's harder to kind of jump into it. But I would sit there and whenever I was recording somebody, I would turn on the recording while they were warming up. And a lot of times that was their better take because they weren't thinking about it. The other is hold in your head, I can do this 50 times. It doesn't matter if I screw up. And then just relax and keep going for it and tell the engineer you're going to do that. Go, hey man, sometimes I need to relax. I'm a little, tense or something. Just loop the shit and let me do it a few times and, just go for it. And when you start to relax because you realize it doesn't matter if you mess up, odds are you're going to do a little better. Speed in songs like Lost for Words, where the right hand is just pure speed. It's all the same thing. Like I said, check out the 3-finger video, and the other is, it's just, well, one is, and I find this a lot too, you got to dial back on the intensity. You can't slam the hell out of the strings and think that you're going to be able to get a lot of speed that way. It just doesn't work. I will fight anybody to the death about this. It would be the same thing as trying to run, a marathon or a speed relay while slamming your feet into the ground as you go. You've got to get even and get control. Just getting used to. That's what it takes. It's just getting it even. I'm not hitting any harder when I go faster than I do when I'm just going like this. It's all the same thing. So relaxation, making sure you're in sync, and it's like anything else, going to the gym or something. You just have to build up speed with daily practice and pushing that tempo up every day. Pretty sure it's the neck. Could be. Sure, Ben. If you have more questions, silent degradation, pop them into the comments on those or tag me in them especially. A side note, a lot of times if in longer reply threads or when things get replied to in older videos, if I don't answer, I try and answer just about everything. If I don't answer, it's not because I'm, just ignoring selectively comments or something. I've gone back and found comments that were directed right at me from months ago. YouTube has a horrible alert system, and I don't know they're there sometimes. So if there's something you really want to know or a question or a suggestion for a video, please put it in a new video or something. If, a month goes by and I don't say anything, feel free to do that, man. It doesn't bug me because half the time I don't know these things have gone on. So let's see. Any advice on EQing when playing lighter? Nope, keep the same EQ. If you're going to play lighter, though, what you can do is lower your action more, and that's going to give you the same bit of kind of clank or aggression, if that's what you're after, as when you're playing more aggressive. For me, lighter, lower. What tuning are you in? I am in standard tuning, BEADG. Upgrading the soap bars in my bass. Advice on which pickups to look at. Currently at Bartolini MK1s. Not a fan at all. I'm going to say this too. A lot of people, and this has become kind of, a bit of a meme on a lot of forums, the best this for metal or the best that for metal or anything. Not being insulting or anything, but there is no best for metal. It's whatever you like, and anything can be metal if you like it that way. I mean, look at the difference in John Myung and Jason Newstead, or, wildly different sounds. It's go for more the aspect of the sound you want. If you're looking for something more aggressive, like what I do, things like that, and you like a lot of aggression or clank or a D.D. Verney type of sound or something like that, I'm going to lean, obviously I have my preference for EMGs. I've heard good things out of Nordstrand. They're not quite as aggressive as this. You can do, you can get your sound out of a lot of stuff, but if you're really trying to lean, the one big suggestion I can give is that you're probably going to have the best luck picking something with a ceramic magnet. they tend to be a bit more harsh and a bit more biting than the Alnicos. So, yeah, if you're trying stuff outside of EMG or any other things, try looking for stuff with a ceramic magnet. Leon Wilkinson, yeah, classic rock, great lines, man. When you play live, are you stage right or stage left? I am in the middle because I also sing lead. So, yeah, it's challenging, but I am dead right in the middle. So, this comments on the, yeah, it's YouTube's alert system is absolute crap. I even get alerts for messages that then just disappear. I have no idea what happens to them. Sure, man. Hope it helps. And again, you know, toss into the comments and, you know, help refine it once you start getting closer to the sound you're really after. And myself, and I'm sure all the awesome people here will help get you closer to your sound. Bases for sale coming along. It's coming. Oh, since somebody brought it up, I'm going to be letting go of a number of bases, and like I said, they'll go to patrons first. I'll offer them up, then people here on the channel. A couple of things that will be coming up that are somewhat one of a kind or really hard to find is I've actually got a basically mint condition Schecter Hellraiser bass that is 36 scale. There's only 2 of them out. This is one of them. I'm going to be letting that one go. So that's going to be coming up. What else do I have here? A Schecter P bass with a P and a Music Man pickup that had the neck swapped out for a US custom Michael Anthony jazz style neck. So again, another kind of one of a kind thing there. And then outside of that, I'll be doing a couple of guitars too. So a neck through Banshee Extreme, a E1 with a flame maple top, and chrome Fishmans, and that's it that I can see from here. Oh, and a white Avenger guitar limited. So that stuff's coming up. Good exercise you can do when you don't have your bass with you. Yeah. Coordination exercises like this if you're trying to do 2 fingers or get the edge of a table. I used to do this with the upholstery, with the hem that goes around the upholstery, like on a chair in a car or something like that, and click back and forth. It's the same width usually as about a heavy E string. So I used to do that all the time, is just popping back and forth. So that can be good. But yeah, a lot of times just developing tempo and feel, and I would turn on the radio and I would practice just going like on a table, like just getting used to having that rhythm going. You use heavier gauge strings when you tune a step down. Seems on some forums do and some don't. I'm not a fan of really heavy gauge strings. In fact, I really hate them. They tend to die quicker. They don't have real great overtones and things. I used to use much lighter strings, so I don't as much. It depends on brand too, really heavily, because in between brands, the tension changes. So it depends. These are the Pro Steels. And if I'm going to tune this bass down, I'm not going to go to a heavier gauge. I lose a lot of bite and kind of attack when I go to those. They tend to just kind of blob out quick. But that's my thing, so I don't. Looking at EMGs or Fishman Fluence. Oh, thanks for the kudos on that one. Silent degradation. Let's see. What is a Discord? Haven't had time to look into it. Oh, it's one I definitely need to look at, drop back in on a bit more, but it's basically an open forum for conversation. Anybody can post messages, videos, audio clips, things like that. There you go. Patrick's got you covered there. Need to drop out. Carol, good to see you, man. Take care of yourself. Place for tapping fifths in 2 octaves or things like John Young. Yeah, let's see. I do it a little bit more in octaves, but things like that type of thing. It's basically For me, it's just I find matching fingers helps a lot. If you want to see the beginning of this, look at I did something like this in the beginning of, I think it was the Apocalypse pickup setup. So you can see it in there. But basically the exercise I used to do with it is just go, and again, this is octaves, but I would go fifth here, seventh here with my first and ring finger. Then I would take the strings in between, being the D, and I would go same thing here, but like that, like something like that. It's a pretty simple maneuver, but it's just going and then down this way. And then move them around, see what you come up with. Hello from Texas, Isaiah. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but the replay will be available and stuff like that too. I got to get rolling with a student here before too long. Discord is like a much internet relay chat. Yeah, exactly. Steven's got it. So I'm going to get ready and run here, guys, but any last questions or anything before I go? I'll give you a minute here to catch up. I'm going to grab a little bit of coffee. Yeah. Yeah, sorry I missed you here, Isaiah. I'm going to try and do these a bit more on the regular now, too. Now that the studio's shaping up, I'm not constantly moving all my equipment around. But if I can catch you on the next one. If you came in for a specific question or something, cool. And like I said, you can, if you're just interested in watching and stuff, you can roll back and all this will be kept on the channel. Greetings from South Africa. Awesome, man. Really enjoy getting to hang with the international crowd and everything. Best to you. Thanks so much, Jimmy. Much appreciated. Glad you can make it in here today. Patrick, you're too kind, sir. I always like getting to come in and chat. Other metal bass YouTubers I like. I don't see a lot of metal bass. That's kind of why I did the channel. As far as just bass stuff, there's like Charles Berthoud. That guy's amazing. I really like his stuff. He leans metal here and there. Patrick from I'm completely flaking. I've got like no brains this morning and I feel terrible. But Patrick Hunter, he does real cool stuff too. Good to see you, Gio, man. Thanks for popping in. Green Man, been a little bit. Thanks, man. You take care. As much bass response with PJ as dual coil. Yeah. It's all about EQ, man. Whatever pickup combination you're using, you can get good throaty stuff as long as you know where you need to notch things in. Elias, good to see you from Sweden. Awesome. I've got some great friends up there, man. Yep, and I'm hoping to vary the times a little bit too to make it easier in everybody's time zone. So hopefully everybody can get in. Thanks for stopping in here. Misappropriation, quite welcome. Thanks for coming in. Dinah, good to see you too. Steven, awesome, man. So that's going to wrap it up for this Metal Bass Monday. Really glad to see you guys in here. Appreciate the hang. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.